Hi, welcome to this week's bonus clip. We recorded this as part of our wrap pod following the Ireland-Tonga match, which you'll find on Apple, Spotify, and all the usual other places. This week, I have Conor Cronin and Rich Mifsud with me, and starting with yourself, Conor, I just wanted to talk about the form over the past couple of weeks of Bundee Aki and how even with the apparent return to fitness of Robbie Henshaw, it's getting harder to think of an argument for taking that starting jersey off the Connacht Centre.
Yeah, I said in the preview for that match that this was an opportunity for some players to put their hands up and say, "Here I am," and pick me instead. I don't think there's anything Robbie Henshaw could have done in the time he was on the pitch to take that jersey away from Bundee Aki. For the Tonga match, I looked at some of his stats. 19 carries, more than any other player on the Ireland team. 80 metres, more than any other player on the Irish team. 10 defenders beaten, more than any other player. Only 4 tackles, but in a match where there were less than 100 tackles made by the Irish team, and it was the most of any of the backs. That's perfectly acceptable in my opinion. And 2 really, really well taken tries. We talked about them in the wrap pod, how they're tries where his strong running, his strong carrying, his good lines, they're what gets him over the line for the try. But it's not all he's doing. Just looking at the Tonga game, where he's packed down in the scrum when Peter O'Mahony went off, where he's carrying, where he's standing at the back of one of the lineouts as an extra bit of shove for when the maul is formed, or to create some kind of decoy or whatever he was there doing. But he's covering an awful lot in what he's doing, and he's doing it incredibly well. There's no reason I can see at all, barring an injury, that Bundee isn't our starting 12 for every game going forward, where we're going in and looking and saying we really need to win this. He's our man to be there at 12. His ability, his awareness, his running, his tackling, it's all there, and he is clearly in just a fine vein of form right now, and a pleasure to watch.
Absolutely, because we did a series of these YouTube clips just before the World Cup started, where we went through every position, talking about the best Irish players for each position. And when it came to 12, it was even then, we're just talking a few weeks ago, it was pretty much Robbie Henshaw that was with Henshaw Ringrose partnership. It was pretty much almost nailed on, and one of the things against Bundee was his maybe discipline, and he has had issues over the years. There've been red cards and yellows and things like that as well. But I mean, over the past few weeks, he seems to have worked on that a lot. The whole team has been doing well. The commentators were saying how rarely any Irish players get yellow cards now, and touch wood and all that for the weeks going forward. But it was the thing about Bundee as well, and he seems to have worked on that. And of course, you had Robbie Henshaw with his injury issues as well. And this is the way you want test rugby to work if you're going to be successful. That if you do have one player does have an issue, you've got someone able to step up. And Bundee's done that. He's put in the form. He's put in the minutes. We thought he was player of the match last week. He won it this week. What do you make of it, Rich?
I don't know what Andy Farrell is feeding him, but he has been immense. He really has been immense. And it's not just these last 2 games where you could argue that, the opposition hasn't been that brilliant. But, in the build-up to the World Cup, those games, he was the standout player. And that says an awful lot, because there were quite a lot of players on show. But he is, at the moment, and touch wood, long may it continue, he has easily been our best player. Easily. Possibly Caelan Doris coming in just a shade behind him. But Bundee has been, I'm not going to say he's a revelation, clearly, because we've seen him often enough and he can do all this. But I think that he, and I think this is the top 2 inches, he looks like a man on a mission. But a man on a mission who is harnessing that mission correctly and not doing what we have seen him do in the past with his disciplinary issues. Whatever it is, he's cut it out of his game, and he's an amazing footballer. He really is, but he always has been. But it's this removal of, or this channeling of that intensity that he brings to actually being positive rather than negativity, which is the disciplinary issues. But whatever he's doing, whoever's gotten into his head, well, carry on doing it, because he has been brilliant. And, you know, as Conor and yourself, Jeff, have said, you know, he has to start. He really does. He gives us that go forward. He's like a battering ram, but he's a battering ram who also has the skills to be able to release his hands and get offloads away. But and this is where the guy is presently a step above everybody else in the team, and that is his work rate. And you know, Conor has mentioned it. He's just everywhere. He has got one engine on him. He really does. And you know, I have nothing but praise for Bundee. At the moment, he is our top man. He really is. And long may that continue, because we'll need him.
But hang on, we're all Leinster fans, and we're supposed to be saying Robbie Henshaw or nobody. I mean, sure. I thought that's how this was going to go. What's happening, guys? Seriously.
We're all doing exactly what I said the other day. Put the provincial bullshit behind you and support the right players put in the right positions by the people who are seeing them all the time.
Absolutely.
Correct.
And that's why he's there.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, no question. He's in possession of the jersey now. He's earned it. He has it, and there's been a lot of talk about Andy Farrell having his team set in stone 2 years ago, or whatever it's been said, and nothing's going to change it. But I think those people might be surprised this week with the selection, because I mean, there's no question Bundee's earned it. I mean, like, you know, on top of the two, even before the two tries. I mean, I watched it when I rewatched it. I was watching more with him, and just every carry was busting through tacklers, busting through the gain line, getting us on the front foot when we weren't. And I've said before how when I was talking about Gary Ringrose and his contribution to the side, I often say he's underused in that they don't tend to build plays around him. He's kind of there to sort of, you know, pick up and be part of moves and use his rugby brain when we need him. But when you have someone such a strong runner in that 12th channel, it's a bonus having Gary out there. But he's just so capable of setting up so many plays and running so many strong lines and getting into defenses. It's just he's been a revelation these past couple of weeks. And some might say, oh, it's just Romanian Tonga, but you watch those two sets of 80 minutes, and it's a lot more than that. And he's more than ready to face the Springboks. Okay, so that's it for our bonus clip this week. Many thanks again for tuning in. And as ever, be sure to comment, like, share, and subscribe wherever you can. You can follow us on all our social media channels.